What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So we are back for another recap of the Golden Bachelorette. Joan's season. We're getting really close to hometowns. This is the last episode before we get to hometowns coming up next week. So things are heating up here on Joan's journey. The cold open for the episode is Joan coming in to the mansion and asking to talk to Mark. You guys are like, hey, we're assuming this is good, but is that a bad sign to start the episode? We'll see. They'll keep us hanging, I'm sure, till the end. Before we do jump into the recap, though, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there for more Bachelor, Golden Bachelorette content and everything Bachelor related on the channel. A bunch more stuff there as well, so make sure to subscribe and go check all of it out. So we jump to the beginning of the episode. We see Pascal up actually steaming his clothes. I'm actually shocked. The guys are talking about how the house feels more empty with there only being 7 guys left now at this point. Keith feels like his connection with Joan is kind of stalling out, especially after that awkward conversation last cocktail party, but thinks that there's still something there. Joan and Trista meet up to talk. She asks Trista how to go all in and kind of get out of her head. Trista says her biggest regret is not opening up more. I believe she said she wasn't going to do roses on dates this week to make sure she made the right decision. And I kind of like that. I wish that would kind of be a trend, you know, kind of later in all Bachelor, Bachelorette, Golden Bachelorette, Golden Bachelor, you know, future seasons. You know, when you kind of get to this end, like the end of, you know, the season before you get to hometowns and, you know, XYZ, you know, obviously I know you don't do roses past that point, but when you get to this kind of last like week or so, it's like, you want to make sure you make the right decision, especially next week once you're getting families involved and, you know, all that. So I like that decision. Here, I don't think they did that on Gary's season of The Golden Bachelor, but I could be wrong. But it is time. Keith gets the first one-on-one of the week. They're going on a helicopter ride. Joan's looking to find that more depth besides the fun, life of the party side of Keith. Obviously, he did get the first impression rose on opening night. On the helicopter ride, they line at a winery. The winery couple has actually been married 32 years, which is how long Joan and her husband were married. And, you know, obviously it strikes an emotional chord with her as she says, you know, remembering her late husband. Jump back to the house and Mark is kind of struggling, says he feels a connection, but says that he's losing hope. He talks with Pascal and Jordan about if he's doing the right thing. He tells about how his late wife, Denise, would hold her hand out. They had a hummingbird feeder, and she would hold her hand out, and hummingbirds would just come and sit in her hand. Obviously gets emotional, and you know, before she did pass away, she told him to go out and find someone after she passed. And he was, at this point, kind of just questioning if he was doing the right thing, and he was out walking around the mansion to outside, and a hummingbird, you know, kind of just came up right to him. They got a little shot of the hummingbird on the tree, on the branch there. And, you know, he said that was just kind of a sign like he is doing the right thing. And it just kind of took off a weight off of his shoulders, as he said. We jump back to Keith's one-on-one date, and he's able to open up and be a little bit more vulnerable to Joan and talks about his ex-wife and that whole situation that touched on a little bit earlier in the season and how he had to get his daughters out of that situation. It seems like they made some good headway on this one-on-one date. Back at the house, Mark is manifesting. He gets a one-on-one, and it works. We get the group date rose, and it's Chuck, Jonathan, Pascal, and Jordan and Guy going on. Sounds like a bowling group date for the last group date of the season. Everyone shows up to the bowling alley, gets their bowling shirt on, their bowling shoes on, and might not be Pascal's style. A little bit. Joan, he doesn't seem to know how to bowl either. Joan teaches him how to bowl. Thankfully, he's not afraid to make a fool of himself, as he says, but he throws it and gets all of the pins down except 2. So maybe he was lying about only bowling like once or twice, I think he said, or not knowing how to. But during the bowling portion of the group date, Chuck gets up next to Joan, puts his arm around her, and is just around her the whole time. And the guys are like, whoa, like, this is a group date, like, portion. He's just snuggling up like it's a one-on-one date. Guy says to Chuck, actually, when Joan is up bowling or something, like, kind of mouths to him, like, hey, give the other guys some time here. Like, we're all here, you know, together. But Chuck doesn't much care. After the bowling portion, Jonathan is able to pull Joan to the side to talk a little bit about his family, share a little letter from his daughters, some old pictures, and feels like it's a nice connection moment for them. All the guys get to talk with her and about what their hometowns would be like possibly next week should they get a rose. Guy gets kind of emotional, saying he hasn't been this happy in years, and it's all because of Joan, and he believes he may be falling in love. The guys are talking about Chuck not giving them a chance to talk with her during bowling. Joan and Chuck, while they are talking about this, Joan and Chuck are over having their own one-on-one, talk, as all the guys did get, and they're talking about how they could see a future there with each other, and they've seen it for a while. And then we jump back to the house, and it's time for Mark's one-on-one date. Joan shows up in a nice red Porsche to take Mark on their date. She says they haven't gotten there in terms of connection. He's more quiet, and she says, they're kind of more formal with each other, but he checks so many boxes and, would love to go to his hometown. They're spending a day on boat, yacht, kind of just hanging out, and the edit makes it start out to be really awkward, not really talking, just kind of sipping on their wine. And Joan says how they just haven't really gotten to that easy flow to this point. The boat captain comes down, though, however, and, gives them a note from Jesse to embark on a scavenger hunt to get to know each other better. Once they start playing this scavenger hunt game, I guess, if you will, things start lightening up and get moving. Mark says, I'm a little slow getting started, but now, as we said, they got the scavenger hunt going. There's some music playing over the edit in the background. Things are flowing. There's more laughter, and things are going a lot better at this point now. They're able to talk some more about Mark's late wife, Denise. They both agree that they're never going to be 100% over their late spouses. And, Mark tells Joan about seeing the hummingbird and the relation to Denise. They made a lot of progress here and formed a real connection, I think, on this date, from what it appears like. We do close the one-on-one portion of this date, though, with Joan saying she still said that there's something missing, though. Don't like that. And when we come back from commercial the next morning, the guys were all talking about, how, Mark came in on cloud nine and everyone's assuming he's going to get a hometown date. And then Joan shows up, pulls Mark to talk, and she tells him how good of a date it was, and, how much they connected, and, how much it meant to her and how supported she felt. But she said that when she went home, she just couldn't get past that there was still something missing. She thinks that she came around a little too soon for him in his journey, as he's, now, starting to, get back out there. And as he even said and opened up to Joan, being around these guys that are opening up more is allowing him to open up more and, feel more things and, whatnot. So she just says that she thinks that she's, maybe a little further along than he is at this point, and, just came into each other's lives at the wrong time. She said she didn't see her in their conversations yesterday, really in terms of the future. So they share an emotional goodbye. He goes in and tells the guys that, he's leaving. And if Mark is not the next Golden Bachelor, I will riot. I'm pretty sure anyone that watches the show will riot. So Mark, hope we see you on the screen next year for Golden Bachelor. You deserve it. One of the best guys, if not the best guy we've had in the franchise. Obviously, Kelsey's dad, Joey's future father-in-law. Loved seeing Mark on our screens. Hope we get some more of him next year in the Golden Bachelor. But at the actual rose ceremony, Pascal, Chuck, Guy, and Jordan get the roses, which means they are going to hometowns, which leaves Jonathan and Keith going home. Says goodbye to Keith, and then she actually walks Jonathan out and thanks him for who he was throughout this journey for her and opening up the way he did. He's an incredible person as well. And, I really think I did just say that about Mark, that he should be the Golden Bachelor next year. And I think Jonathan would be an incredible choice for that as well. Let's do 2 seasons. Why not? Just do 2 seasons of the Golden Bachelor. Don't do the Rachel and Gabby 2 Golden Bachelors and 1 group of 1. Don't do that. Just do 2 seasons of Golden Bachelor. We can do it. I'm sure production can handle it. Why not? Give us 2 seasons. We'll be tuned in and watching. If you do that for both Mark and Jonathan, would love that. But we get the preview for hometowns, and all I can take from it is Joan talking about or bringing up, the possibility of ending alone. And after Jen's season, please no. Please, I can't. I really hope Joan doesn't end up alone. I know that they kind of do this every year, but I'm just kind of scarred from how Jen's journey emotionally ended just a month and a half ago, it seems like. But yeah, so please know, I really hope that Joan does find what she's looking for in this journey as we move into what next week is probably hometowns, and then you'll probably have the fantasy suites, and then you'll have the men tell all, and then the finale. So probably about 4 episodes left. So we're coming down to it. We'll be here to recap it all and talk about it all as we go forward in Joan's journey. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.